بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا حبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. أما بعد، قال الله تبارك وتعالى: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. كما أرسلنا فيكم رسولا منكم يتلو عليكم آياتنا ويزكيكم ويعلمكم الكتاب والحكمة ويعلم ما لم تكونوا تعلمون. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, even as we have sent down unto you a messenger from amongst yourselves to convey unto you our message and to cause you to grow in purity and to impart unto you revelation and wisdom and to teach you that which you knew not. My brothers and sisters, today's topic is Muslim communities' priorities in the West. Our priorities in the West as Muslims. Allah reminds you and I, كَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا فِيكُمْ, like we sent amongst you what? رَسُولًا مِنْكُمْ, a prophet from amongst yourselves. يَتْلُو عَلَيْكُمْ آيَاتِنَا, so that they could teach you our message. They could convey unto you our message. وَيُزَكِّيكُمْ, and help you to become pure. وَيُعَلِّمُكُمْ الْكِتَابِ, and could teach you the book. وَالْحِكْمَةِ, wisdom. وَيُعَلِّمُ مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ, and who could teach you what you did not know. I chose this verse for a simple reason, my brothers and sisters. All prophets who came to any nation, all prophets who came to any people, the first and the foremost identity of those prophets was that they were local people. They were not foreign individuals who came to their land. Most of those prophets were local people, one amongst themselves, like our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. He grew up in Mecca. They saw him being born. He was born in a noble family called Quraysh. They knew his grandfather Abdul Muttalib. They knew his father Abdullah. They knew his mother Amina. They knew his uncle Abu Talib. They knew his entire family. They knew everything about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As soon as he was born, there was no dispute about him being from a good family. He grew up right in front of them. He spoke with them. He played with their children. He was amongst them, and he was respected for being amongst them. Before he became a prophet, they respected and honored him, and they called him Amin al-Salih, the trustworthy and the truthful. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a prophet from amongst the Meccans. Other prophets, Isa ﷺ was a prophet from amongst the people of his own kind and family and locality. Musa ﷺ was born amongst his people. Shu'aib was born amongst his people. Nuh was born amongst his people. Dawood was born amongst his people. Sulaiman was born amongst his people. Each and every prophet, their unique identity is that they were local. Why is it important to be local? Because as a local person, you'll be able to understand the local issues. And as a local person, people will be able to identify you, relate to you, trust you, listen to you, and may change because they think you're a good person, because they know you and they can vouch for you. Local identity is important, my brothers and sisters. So for those of us who have been in this country, either born here or came here later on in our lives, you've been here long enough to be known as local. For my father, who came to this country in 1956, died 5 years ago, after having lived in this country out of his 93 years of life. Out of 93 years of his life, only 27 years of it he spent in Bangladesh, where he was born. But the remaining over 40 years he spent in the UK. Our parents' generation, unfortunately, did not consider this to be their home. They didn't. My father never did. May Allah have mercy on his soul. And many older generations will argue with me even today. This is not our home. Well, fine. You don't have to call it your home. You've been here long enough for me to know that this is your home. You're not going in. Either you're going to be returned in a box back to the country where you came from, or you'll be buried here. Many of our elders who used to sit in the front row, who would sit on the chairs, I saw them as I was growing up here in West Ealing Masjid, from the house in the road across the main high road to the warehouse in which we used to pray. I've seen them. They grew up here. I grew up amongst them. They became older in front of me. They died in this country. And we make dua for them that Allah gives them the best and Allah forgives them and elevates them to the highest of paradise. My dear brothers and sisters, it is the very nature of human that where you come, you settle down and that becomes your home. And when this becomes your home, you feel a duty and a responsibility towards your home. The prophets were given that same responsibility and a duty. Prophets' duty were very simple. Their duty was to help people to convey the message of Allah to them first. Tell them about Allah. Tell them about goodness. Tell them about living a wholesome life. Tell them about the hereafter. Tell them about accountability. Tell them about the hell and the heaven that awaits them. Tell them about what's going to happen to them in their graves. Give them the message of Allah. That was the message of the Prophet. That was the mission of the Prophet, the duty and the responsibility of the Prophet, to deliver this message to the people around them. The duty of the Prophets were to help people purify themselves with their faith, purify them in their character, purify them in their mission, purify them in their duties and responsibilities, purify them in their economy, purify them in their politics, purify them in every sphere of life. Prophets' duties was to help people become pure. Prophets' duties were to deliver the revelation as it came down. The Quran came to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He received it, but he delivered it straight away. He never kept the word of the Quran to himself. He imparted it straight away. All the prophets who came before, who received revelation, that was their duty, to give away the message of Allah as it came down. And to draw from those messages of Allah wisdom, to draw from it wisdom, lessons of life, draw from it what we should do and what we should not do. Draw from it pragmatic message that can transform societies, revolutionary message that can topple dictators and despots, transformative message that could bring the worst of people and make the best of them. My brothers and sisters, and Prophet's message was, and their duties were to teach people things that they had no knowledge of. We had no knowledge of the hereafter. Prophet came and gave us that message by the words of Allah from the Quran. Even for us Muslims, we believe many scientific advancement, the seed for scientific theories and practices were sown down by the teachings of the Quran, by the words of Allah. The thinking Muslims began to process and start the process of implanting on the world knowledge that is needed to transform the world. So my brothers and sisters, I've got 3 simple questions for you, because I'm talking about our priorities in this country. If the prophets were from their own people, if the prophet's duty was to convey the message of Allah to those people, if the prophet's duty was to help those people to become pure, if the prophet's duty was to help them so that they can be a people who understand the book of Allah, the revelation, draw from it wisdom, and if the duty of the Prophet and the mission of the Prophet was to help people learn things that they did not know, why is it any different to you and me? We're not the prophets, of course. But Rasulullah did say, I will no longer be with you. After today, I may not be here to talk to you or see you ever again. He said this in his last sermon. He said, your duty is like the Prophet's duty. Deliver, even if you know one verse. Even if you know one verse, deliver it to the world. You and I became those people who were entrusted in the prophetic duties. We're not prophets, but we had prophetic duties of delivering the message of Allah to the people. So if we have become the deliverers, the messengers, postmen, if we have become those people who will go and invite people to the path of Allah, ادعوا إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. Invite people to the path of Allah with hikmah, with wisdom, موعظة الحسنة. Best of examples. We have to demonstrate to the world that we are those people worthy of listening. We are those people worthy of consideration. We are those people who are worthy of respect. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. What is a better word? What is better in terms of words, in terms of speech, than the one who invites people to the path of Allah? What is better than this? So you and I have taken over or taken on the prophetic responsibilities of delivering. So I have 3 questions for you, my brothers and sisters, in order to deliver this message to the people. Number 1, do you consider this country as your home? Is this your home? If you don't think this is your home, I'm afraid you've failed in understanding the prophetic duties. You can't deliver a message where you don't even think you belong. How can you deliver a message to a people who you don't think you belong to? How can you do anything for the well-being of a people or a country or a place where you think you don't belong? Some people will say, brother, it's a non-Muslim country. We don't belong here. Well, my brother or my sister, think again. How did this country become a non-Muslim country? And how did Mecca began and how did Medina became a Muslim country? When Rasulullah began, there was nobody to listen to his message. That was a non-Muslim country. He invited people. Life became unbearable. He stayed stuck until Allah told him to migrate. If people of Mecca did not drive him out of his home, he would have stayed there. Rasulullah said this. When he went to Medina, people of Medina accepted him. It was still a non-Muslim country. Majority of the people of Medina were non-Muslims. It became his home. That was his country and place. He went to Taif looking for an alternative place before he went to Medina. He was looking for an alternative place. You can't have it both ways. You can't have 1 foot in Pakistan and 1 foot in London, 1 foot in Bangladesh and 1 foot in England, 1 foot in Mogadishu and 1 foot in West Ealing. You can't have it both ways. This is your home. This is your home. Accept it. Your children are not going to go back to the countries where you come from. If I do a survey of the audience here, I can tell you 90% of our children have not been back to the countries where we have come from. I'm the first one to acknowledge my children have never been back to the country of my father, Bangladesh. Never been. What do you mean back to? It's not back to their country, it's not their country. I haven't been for 15 years. Will I go? Now I may go because the government has fallen and I'm free to go. All this time I was banned. Can you see how it's none of those countries are truly ours? They've been ruled by despots and dictators. We have an opportunity here in our country, in this country. Call it your home. And when you buy a home, what do you do to your home? You invest in your home. You change the door if the door is breaking down. You fix the heating if the heating is not working. If the plumbing breaks down, you will work hard to make sure you employ the best plumber, get the best electrician, make the house nicer, put a little paint on the wall, change the carpet if carpet is changing. Make the house smell nice, look beautiful. You'll make your home beautiful. Make this country beautiful. Make this place beautiful because this is your home. Please mark my words very carefully. Allah has not sent you and I in this country out of an accident. Allah did not send my parents in 1956 to this country because of an accident. Allah plans. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They plan and Allah plans. And Allah's plan is the best of plans. And He is the best of planners. Allah sent people here for a reason. You know, Ottoman Empire, Ottomans, the Uthmani Khalifa, were knocking on the doors of Europe for years. They were knocking on the doors of Europe with army, they couldn't open it. They came to the doors of Europe with military forces, they couldn't open it. They knocked and they knocked and they knocked. They came up to Vienna, they were driven back. They came to Spain and they settled down in Spain, but they couldn't enter Europe. What the Ottoman Khalifa, the Uthmani Khalifa failed to do, you and I have done. We live in Europe, it is our home, and we don't live in 1 or 2 in number. We live in this country and in Europe and in the Western world. peacefully as equal citizens. In our millions, we live here. Why would you throw it away? Oh, brother, it's not my country. Why would you even say such a thing? So question number one is this country your country? If it's not your country, then you've got your priorities wrong. My brothers and sisters, West is ours. Western nations are our people and our community, and we must make sure that we do exactly that in this country and in this place. Look at the time of Rasulullah and how the companions dealt with it. Do you know Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu's grave is still in Istanbul? Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, the man who gave house to shelter to Rasulullah when he came from Mecca to Medina. The first house in which Rasulullah stayed was Abu Ayyub al-Ansari's house. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari was a companion of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why is he buried in Istanbul? Why is Abu Sa'id al-Khudri buried in Istanbul? Why do we have graves of companions in India? Why do we have graves of companions in China? Why do we have graves of companions in other parts of the Middle East and far? Why? Because they were not stuck to one land and one people. They went wherever they went, and that became their home. My brothers and sisters, even if the local people reject you and I, we will still call this our home. Even if they say, no, this is not your home. This is my home. What are you going to do about it? I remember saying this on a television program. They said to me, well, how can you call yourself English? Of course I'm English. Well, it's a race. Well, are you being racist? It's my home. Don't deprive me of it. My brothers and sisters, we'll do everything possible in our power to make our home a home. We'll integrate here. We'll influence here. We'll work towards making our home better and safer for all people. Question number one, is this your home? Question number two, are British people, people of this island, or if you live in France, if you live in Germany, if you live in America, are people of your country your people? Do you consider them as your people? No, brother, I can't consider them as my people because they're not Muslims. Well, let's look at the Quran. What does Allah say in the Quran? He says, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ, and we sent Nuh to his people. And what did he say? فَقَالْ, he said, يَا قَوْمِ, O my people. If Nuh was sent to his people, who were mushriks, who were disobedient of Allah, who were associating partners with Allah, Allah is saying, we send Nuh to his people. Allah is saying that, to his people. And Nuh is acknowledging, Ya qawmi, O my people. Who are you to consider people of this country, people of this land, people of this area as not your people? وَإِلَى عَادِ أَخَاهُمْ هُودًا قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ, O my people, said Hud said to people of Ad. وَإِلَى ثَمُودَ أَخَاهُمْ صَالِحًا, and to people of Samud, Salih said to them, Ya qawmi, O my people. Their message was saying, Ya qawmi a'budullah ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh. O my people, don't worship anybody except Allah, because there are no ilahs worthy of worship. Their message was the same, but they addressed the people as their people. Oh my people, oh British people, I care about your well-being. I care about your welfare. I care about the future of this country and people of this country. I care that people of this country are being infected by the narcotics, the drugs industry. I care that this countries have been taken over by the alcohol industry. I care that this country has been infected, blighted by criminalities, gangs and crime. I care that living expenses have gone through the roof. I care that people are having to choose between fueling their house with heat or choosing to eat. I care about people because they're my people. That's Islam, my brothers and sisters. Do you care about these people? If you do, where is your food bank? Where is your food bank? Why are you not feeding the people who need food most? I remember receiving a phone call last week from a sister. She called me and she said to me, my dear brother, I know one girl, she's living in this house, in this flat on her own. She has not eaten any food for 10 days. She's been living on water. No money, nobody in this country to help her. Can you please help? So we sent somebody from the masjid. They took 2 crates full of food to give her. She was very grateful. She said to me, I didn't know Muslims like this existed in this country. I said to my dear sister, in our masjid we have a food bank. Our food bank feeds more than 450 people every month, every week. More than 80% of them are non-Muslims. My brothers and sisters, we care. People of this country are people. Islam is the most diverse religion that you can ever imagine. In this very audience, I probably have more than 50 different nationalities. When I say nationalities, I mean ethnicities, different languages you speak. But you're all here doing the same thing, listening to me, waiting to pray in the same direction, have the same Quran recited to you. You believe in the same Allah, you follow the same Prophet of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have the same Quran for your guide. We are the same, doesn't matter where we come from. It is the most diverse religion, the most diverse way of life that you can ever imagine. Why shouldn't the people of this world love this way of life called Islam? Why wouldn't they? The reason why they don't love it is because you and I don't deliver it. You and I don't deliver it. We don't go out there as ambassadors delivering this message of Allah to the people. My brothers and sisters, what's preventing you from delivering this message to the people? I don't like them. Oh, they're not Muslims. Oh, they're drinking alcohol. Oh, they're taking drugs. My brothers and sisters, if you have this kind of attitude, what did Rasulullah have the same attitude about the Meccans? Didn't he have companions who were drunk before? Didn't he have companions who were murderers before? Didn't he have companions who had illicit relationships before? Didn't he have companions who were in criminal activities before? Didn't he have companions who did all sorts of awful things before they became Muslim? They were doing all those things, including Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. And when they became Muslim, they became the best of people. And who took care of them, who went to them, Rasulullah and his companions. They did not discriminate. They did not say, he's a Muslim, I don't make friendship with him. They did not say, he is a mushrik, I'm not going to be befriending him at all. No. Some people misquote the Quranic verse. Allah says in the Quran, don't make the disbelievers your friends. Allah doesn't say that. Allah says, don't take them as your intimate confidant. Very different to being a friend to a person, to a neighbor. Very different. We are not allowed to be intimate as confidant to anybody but those who believe in Allah. Because of a reason. Because we say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is a unity in our faith that is unparalleled to anything else. But I must be friendly to my neighbors. I must be friendly to any other human being, regardless of their background, regardless of who they are. So my dear brothers and sisters, we must give back to the community what we have. We must give back to this community and make a difference. It's only then have you taken the people of this country as your people. If you haven't taken the people of this country as your people, then you have failed in delivering the message of Allah. Da'wah that you talk about, you have failed in doing so. It is not enough for you to just be a Muslim and come to the masjid and build your masajid and forget about the rest. That's not enough. I want to see this masjid full of people who are blue-eyed blonde, who are native to this land, and not just you and I, the blacks and the browns, and the foreign looking. I'm not a foreigner anymore, but I'm supposed to be foreign looking. I want to see a time when our imams are blue-eyed blondes, native Europeans. I want to see our masajids full of people of this local land and locality, so that they feel at home, and we feel at home, and we feel the brotherhood and sisterhood of Islam, because we have delivered the message of Islam. We have delivered the message of Islam, and we have accepted them as our people. You understand the two questions I've asked? Is this your home? Yes, it is. Are the people of this country mine? My people? Yes, they are my people. Then you will deliver your message adequately. May Allah give us the strength and the abilities to be able to understand this message, to be able to deliver this message. And may Allah forgive us for our shortcomings. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. My dear brothers and sisters, when Rasulullah came to Medina, what did he do first? He built a masjid. He first laid down the foundation for a masjid in Quba, and then very soon he moved into the city of Medina, and he built the masjid of Medina, Masjid al-Nawawi as we know it today. It wasn't as big as what we have today. It was a small masjid, probably 30 feet wide by 20 or 30 feet deep. It wasn't very big. Probably could take about 40, 50 people. But that's all that was needed, because the companions were not in large number. And those days, outside, you could pray if you wanted to. The gathering was big. They didn't have that much rain like we have here. But very soon there came a time when Rasulullah needed to build a bigger masjid. Do you know why he needed to build a bigger masjid? Because asylum seekers, Ashab al-Sufa, came from a different land who were refugees looking for a place and safety and protection. Rasulullah expanded his masjid by a half. In other words, he increased the size by 50%. Do you know why? So that the refugees will have a home in the masjid. Subhanallah. So that the refugees will have a home in the masjid. How many masajids have a refuge for refugees? How many masajids have a refuge for those who sleep on the street? How many masajids go out looking for people who are sleeping rough outside, bringing them in, saying, here, there is a room here. I know a masjid in America, subhanallah, they have a gymnasium. In the winter months, when it is very cold, they convert the gymnasium into a refuge for those sleeping rough outside. They bring them in, they open up the hall, they make them safe, they open up the bathroom and the shower place and give them food and clothes and tell them, don't sleep outside and die in this cold. Sleep inside and protect yourself. That's a masjid, my brothers and sisters, not only providing a space to pray, not only providing a place for people to come and read the Quran, learn the Quran and run a madrasa. No, they're providing a space for social benefit, for social welfare of the people, a refuge for people who need it, a feeding center where people are hungry, a place from where you give support and aid to people financially, economically, you give people support and aid socially, mentally, in every way possible you provide support and help. Third question for you, are you therefore willing to do everything possible in your capacity for the well-being of this country and the people? Everything possible for you so that you can protect it. Let me ask you a question and think about it. It's a question for you. Imagine Britain goes to war with Saudi Arabia. Imagine Saudi Arabia and Britain is at war. I asked the Muslims, which army would you fight for? Would you fight for the British army, which is your country's army, or would you fight for the Saudi army? It's a very important question. It's an ethical question. A Muslim would fight for the army that is fighting for justice. A Muslim would oppose any army who is fighting for injustice. Whether it is Saudi army or British army, it doesn't matter. So your affinity is based on your values, and your value is Allah's value. Your value is the Quranic value. Your value is the justice value, not sectarian value, not tribal value. None of those, because those were the values of Jahiliyyah. Rasulullah said in a hadith. If you care about the people, and if your people are unjustly attacked, you will stand for them. When the Muslims of Mecca migrated to Ethiopia in the beginning, with Ja'far ibn Abi Talib as their leader, when the Ethiopian king Najashi was attacked by an internal coup, it is recorded by the historians that the early Muslims who went to live in Ethiopia, they joined with the army with Najashi and defended him. Some say, well, Najashi became a Muslim. Well, we know there is a variation, but we accept. But either way, they stood for justice against injustice. Doesn't matter who the perpetrator is. If the perpetrator is your own family, you stand against them. My brothers and sisters, standing for people, standing for this place where you live is essential for your faith. Essential for your longevity, essential for your future, and the demand of your faith. Unless this place and people declare war against anybody unjustly, then you fight the system to say no, like the Muslims did in Vietnam, in America. The American government fought the American-Vietnam War. The Muslims in America and the non-Muslims in America created an alliance, and they fought and they struggled and they demonstrated until the American government relented and stopped its illegal war in Vietnam. Muslims do not shy away. Muhammad Ali served jail sentences because he refused to serve. My brothers and sisters, it's not as simple as black and white, I will do this, I will not do that. No, you've got to understand, you've got to do everything possible for the well-being of this people and this land, because this is your land and this is your people. For some of you, this speech may be uncomfortable. I understand. Please forgive me if it's uncomfortable. But tell me which part of it is uncomfortable. Talk to me afterwards. But wallahi, Allah is my witness. Allah is my witness. When I read the Quran and the Seerah, I see no other way except to behave. This is my home, my country, people of this country are mine, and I have to do everything possible for the well-being of these people and for this land. I see no other way. Otherwise, I'll be stuck on the Day of Judgment, when Muhammad will go with me to paradise, and David and Shaun will complain and say, Ya Allah, he only targeted Muhammad because my name is David and my name is Shaun. He ignored me. What will I say to Allah? What will I say to Allah? My brothers and sisters, I must finish. I make dua, Allah Azza wa Jal forgives us for our mistakes. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, make us the best of the ambassadors, Ya Allah. Enable us to deliver Islam to these people, Ya Allah. Enable us so that we can care for the people, Ya Allah. Enable us so that we can accept the people, Ya Allah. Enable us so that they can open up their hearts to Islam, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, Ya Akramul Akrameen, guide the people of this country to your deen, Ya Allah. Protect us, Ya Allah. Protect us, Ya Allah. We make special dua for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon, Ya Allah. Free them from occupation, Ya Allah. Free them from the attack, Ya Allah. We make special dua for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Free Palestine from occupation, Ya Allah. Free Palestine from genocide, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Those who are perpetrating genocide, those who are perpetrating aggression and occupation, Ya Allah, with your might destroy them, Ya Allah. Remove them, Ya Allah, and replace them with people who love peace and stability on this earth, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, Ya Akramul Akrameen. Restore peace and stability on this earth, Ya Allah. Restore peace and stability on this earth, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروني ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة. Please make the line straight. Yeah. Please stand up and make the